Hello everyone, DMFF here, and today I am making my first video for the mobile game Kingshot that can be played on iOS and Android devices. Today I'm going to be going over heroes within Kingshot, their classes, and what you can do with them in both Expedition and Conquest modes. So without further ado, here we go. This is primarily for my Alliance, but hey, if this helps you on your journey, all the power to you, and I really hope it does. So heroes. Heroes are going to be split into 3 different categories. Their troops will also be of their same type and also split into these same 3 categories. These categories are infantry, cavalry, and archer. They kind of work as a rock, paper, scissors kind of system, where cavalry will be defeating archers, archers will be defeating infantry, and infantry will be defeating cavalry. Each one of these also has varying stats. Infantry heroes and their troops are the front line that you are going to be using to defend. In order to check hero stats, you're going to want to click this hamburger menu here next to the upgrade button. This will show any hero's stats. Infantry heroes will have less attack than the other heroes, but higher defenses and health. Same goes for their escorts. Cavalry heroes and their troops are more well-rounded, having average attack, defense, and health, and being your middle line, being the next in line after infantry. Your last line of defense and your major damage dealers are going to be your archers. Archers, being the back line, are going to have increased attack, but lower defense and health. Same with their troops. Make sure to keep all of this in mind when choosing heroes. Next, we will get into hero skills. Each hero has 2 sets of skills in 2 different trees. On the left, you have Conquest Skills, which can be used in Rebel invasions, Rebel conquests, and arena battles. On the right, you have Expedition Skills, which will take effect when heroes are deployed to fight on the wilderness map. So things like rallying for bear, rallying for anything that you're going to be attacking. Your heroes will be using these expedition skills. So how do these skills actually get utilized? In Conquest, the top left skill of whatever hero is going to be their activatable ability that they are utilizing in combat on Conquest. So for J-Bell here, this is her activatable spear throw that deals additional damage, is AoE, and pins each one hit for 1.5 seconds. The other 2 abilities are typically passives, or something that happens after a condition is breached to automatically activate and apply to your hero. Expedition skills are a little bit different. When you start your own rally, all 3 of the expedition skills will be applied to your rally if they are the leading hero. And what does leading hero mean? You see here, the leftmost hero is going to be the leading hero starting the rally. If you are leading your own rally, all 3 of those expedition abilities will activate. However, if you are joining someone else's rally, only the top right skill of your expedition tree will be applied to the joined rally, so keep these things in mind. This makes J-Bell here very horrible for joining other people's rallies. However, she's pretty good at starting her own rally, as she will apply damage up and lethality to your own rally. Now let's talk about gear really quickly. Each hero has 4 slots for gear: a helmet, arms, chest, and boots. Each of these is going to be applying different stats. The helmet and the boots are going to be applying more attacking stats, while the gloves and the chest are going to be providing more defensive stats. So what do you want to, maximize first on each character? Cavalry is going to be more well-rounded, as stated before, so you are going to want to take a well-rounded approach with upgrading your pieces of gear. you're going to want to do both damage and defense to make your cavalry well-rounded and be able to do their bruiser job. For infantry, you should be maximizing your chest and your arm pieces first. If you do want someone like Zoe to do a little bit more damage, then you can also do one of your damaging pieces like the leg or head alongside the arm and chest. For archers, you're going to want to maximize the headpiece and the boots first, as they are going to be giving the damage buffs to these heroes. Please note that you are going to want to try to maximize all of these pieces of gear. However, the ones that you're going to want to prioritize will vary, as I stated before, for each hero. Additionally, SSR heroes are going to have widgets, or special pieces of gear that you can apply to them. You need specific widget items in order to unlock these. They are exclusive to each SSR hero and will give additional stats to that hero and their escorts. Additionally, it could also give additional conquest or expedition stuff. For her Greaves of Faith, J-Bell will deal additional 10 damage overall, and then for expedition, it will give her troops lethality, which is pretty cool. So you are going to want to upgrade these widgets as they give additional stats overall and give stats for both expedition and conquest. So make sure that you are getting these items for your SSR heroes when you can. Just be sure, if you are in Season 2 like I am, try to save your stuff for KVK or Kingdom versus Kingdom battles, as that's where it's going to matter most. You don't want a kingdom that you're fighting to be invading your kingdom, do you? So that's all for the hero gear and going over the heroes in general for generality. Now, let's talk about what to use heroes for. And we're actually going to start with Expedition. As stated earlier, the hero that you choose on the left is your leading hero when sending any march. When you start and lead a rally, all of the leading hero's right expedition abilities are applied to all troops within your rally. When you join someone else's rally, only the top right ability is applied. Keep these things in mind when joining or starting rallies. Never send a blue hero as your leader for anything other than to gather resources. For most rallies that you start, you will be using your strongest heroes and lead with the strongest within these parameters that I provide. And the strongest, absolute strongest expedition hero to start your own rally is someone I actually don't own, and that is Amadeus. Amadeus, when starting your own rally, will be offering lethality, attack, and damage buffs. He is really, really, really good. Probably the best hero in the game. However, this is basically for whales, as you can only spend money to get him. So keep that in mind. Zoe is an excellent hero to start your own rallies with. Zoe will provide a damage over time boost, as well as attack up and enemy damage taken up. So multiple damage boosts and a damage over time, making all three of her abilities attacking abilities, making her excellent for starting your own attacking rallies. Next, we have Helga, another whale-type hero that you need to spend money in order to actually get her anywhere. For starting her own rallies, she will give attack up and lethality up, which is a pretty good combination to be able to start rallies with. Next, we have the free-to-play hero, J-Bell, who is actually quite good at starting her own rallies. She has a damage buff and lethality up, which isn't quite as good as Helga's, but she is free to play and will typically be one of your strongest heroes just by the way the game works. Next, we have Saul. Saul is quite good at starting your own rallies, as he just applies a lethality buff. He does also apply HP and defense, which is not nearly as good when starting your own attacking rallies. However, having that as opposed to not having it at all is still better than nothing. Next, we have Chenko. Chenko, when you're starting your own rally, is going to provide lethality up and damage taken down. She's okay for starting your own rallies, but she is definitely better to join someone else's rally with. And the rest of these heroes going forward will also be better to join someone else's attacking rally. But in a pinch, if you're doing a whole bunch of rallies, then someone like Chenko can be good for you and any of these others that I'm about to mention. Next, we have Yanu, who will just be applying a lethality boost. So not as good as Chenko, slightly just because she doesn't provide any defense, but just is barely edged out by Chenko. Next, we have Hilda. Hilda is going to be providing attack up, defense up, a damage buff, and damage taken chance down. So not quite as good as providing lethality, but will still provide some damage overall. Next, we have Amane. Amane is going to be providing attack up only. Finally, to lead your own rallies, Marlin is going to be the last that you are going to be wanting to choose. Marlin is going to be providing damage buffs and enemy lethality down. So it is not quite as good as anyone else, but can be used in a pinch if everyone else is being utilized. An honorable mention for fighting beasts, terrors, Watchtower, or Caesaris is going to be Diana. Diana is not someone you're going to want to start your own rallies with for much of anything besides what I just mentioned prior. Her ability reduces governor stamina cost, which is really big. If you want efficiency and you want to be able to hunt beasts or terrors or Watchtower or Caesaris to the best ability, Diana is going to be the most efficient for that. However, don't utilize her for anything else. Now that we've covered heroes to lead when you're starting your own rallies, let's cover heroes to lead with when joining someone else's rally. Again, the best one for this is going to be Amadeus. However, I do not recommend using Amadeus to join someone else's rally. He is much better utilized when starting your own rally, if you have him available. When joining someone else's rally, he provides lethality. Next, when joining someone else's rally, Chenko is great, as she is going to provide lethality up. Very similarly to her, we have Yanu, who is also going to be providing lethality up to the entire rally. Next, if you have started your rally with someone like Amadeus, Zoe is pretty good for joining other people's rallies. She will be providing a damage over time buff to your rally that you are joining. Next, we have Amane, who is going to be providing an attack boost to the rally that you join. Next, we have Hild, who is going to be providing a lesser attack boost to the rally that you are joining, but is also going to be providing a little bit of defense. Lastly, to join someone else's rally, Marlin is a halfway decent leader, as his ability is a damage buff that can be applied to the rally. If you do not have one of these heroes to join a rally as your leader, send only troops with no heroes. Finally, we're going to get into heroes to send for defending garrisons, HQ, or other allies and reinforcement for things like Viking, in order of effectiveness. The best one, in my opinion, is going to be Gordon. Gordon is going to be applying a percentage health up to the entire garrison, so make sure that you are utilizing this. His health up scaling is better than anyone else's. Next, we're going to have Saul. He is very good for defending garrisons or reinforcing, as he is going to be providing a defense and health. The scaling isn't quite as good on the health, but the defense definitely helps it out, though it is going to be a little bit weaker than Gordon's overall. Next, we have three heroes that are essentially all on the same tier. Basically, you can put them in any order of who's the strongest for you. And that is going to be Howard, Quinn, and Fod. All three of these heroes are going to have the damage taken down debuff, so your opponents deal a percentage less damage to you. This is pretty good overall and kind of ignores health and defense overall, and synergizes well with both Gordon and Saul in a defending garrison. Lastly, we have Hilda again, whose defense boost is going to be lesser than someone like Saul's, and is also going to be giving an attack boost instead of a health boost. If you do not have one of these heroes to join a garrison or reinforce an ally, send only troops with no heroes. Now that we've covered the expedition side of things, let's get into the conquest and arena side of things. As we've briefly explained before, heroes have 3 abilities for conquest. The top left ability is going to be the activatable that is going to be happening within the arena or conquest battle. The other 2 abilities are either a passive or something that occurs when a requirement is met, such as with J. Bell, her attack speed will increase by a percentage when health is below 50%. You're going to want to be looking at all 3 of these abilities and what class they fall into. For your loadout, you aren't going to want to have 5 archers either, as all of these heroes' stats do apply here in Arena as well. So you're going to want a nice blend of infantry, cavalry, and archers, as they each have a specified job. You can go 2 infantry, 2 archers, 1 cavalry. You can go 1 infantry, 2 cavalry, 2 archers. You can go 2 infantry, 2 cavalry, 1 archer. Whatever works for you. Typically, you are going to be wanting to use your most powerful heroes, but something else that you are going to be wanting to look at when creating your defensive lineup, or even a lineup to attack people in Arena, is the top left ability being Area of Effect, or AoE damage. You will also want to be looking for things that pin, stun, or immobilize. These kind of things will hinder your opponent from being able to do damage, and the AoE damage will make it so you can clear their soldiers and their heroes at the same time. Additionally, if these heroes are strong for you, heroes like Gordon or Hild provide healing to your heroes, which can be really good for utility. They are going to be providing a lot less damage overall, but someone like Hild also does provide a stun without AoE. If you want to go for a more healing kind of composition, Hild is great for that. For my particular lineup, I have as the front line both Zoe and Howard, great AoE tanks. Zoe being very bulky, as once she hits 50% HP, she will heal a percentage of her HP back, making her deceptively tankier than she actually is. For this reason, she is going to be living a long time. I want to place my priority best damage dealer on the opposite backhand side as her, as the focus is going to be on whatever side that Zoe's on, because she's going to be surviving longer. So I put, personally, J. Bell in the back left-hand corner, as she is my best damage dealer and one that's going to be providing AoE stuns with great damage. Additionally, as you can see here, I am utilizing Marlin over Saul, even though my Saul is higher in stars. That is because Saul is strictly single target. Marlin, even though he is less stars, ends up putting in more work due to his AoE damage and his multiple stuns that can go off throughout a battle. If you would like to see it in action, here we go. The lineup that we are fighting is a lineup that I am seeing a lot. But as you can see, my infantry has gone in. Look at this. Really strong. So that is my video overall on how heroes function. whether they be infantry, cavalry, or archers, what they do in expeditions and in conquests, and what they can provide to you in rallies and garrisoning. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's video, my first Kingshot video ever. If you liked it, hit that like button, subscribe, ding the bell, do all the things. Really does help my channel grow. Thank you so much to KMel3170, my one VIP DMFFer. If you would like your name or username right off at the end of my videos, join my Patreon today, which can be found down in the description. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.